Now we're going to explore what are you going to do with your journal. So we've explored keeping it safe, what it means to be vulnerable and brave. And I'm just wondering, what came up for you? What did you notice? Were there any patterns to your thinking? So now we're going to consider this and what we are going to do with it. So, your journal, every journal has a life, has a certain number of pages. And I want you to think about what are you going to do with your journals. Now, in the past, every time I've moved home, I've burned or shredded them. I've just decided I wanted to let the energy go, and just found a big brazier, set it alight, and chucked all my journals in. Something that I've done more recently is on a full moon, I will go and get my journals. I'll tear out any things that I think are important or ideas and stuff like that I want to keep. And then I have a burning ceremony because it lets the energy go. And I usually do that on a full moon. Now, I know people who've got over 30 or 40 years worth of journals, and they asked me what would I do, and I did say very flippantly, oh, I just burn the lot. And they're like, oh, I can't possibly do that. So what they've been doing, I've got someone in mind in particular, is they've been scanning them in. But their biggest question was should they leave them for their children to read? And I felt that they should, that, they're dead and gone. There's nothing you can do about what you've written. You might have written about your children or other people, and, you can't go back and make an explanation, but that's about leaving a legacy. And I think that's truly wonderful. I don't have anyone to leave a legacy for. I'm probably going to burn mine, but you could leave them as a legacy. You could scan in the bits that you want and then either burn, shred, or soak. There's something kind of interesting about putting your journals in water and then letting all the ink create different patterns. And then you might want to do something. You might want to tear the pages out and create a collage with all the, if you like, all the melted words. And you can burn them, like I said, and release the energy. But what's really curious is that you've spent all this time writing in your journal and being vulnerable and thinking about keeping them safe. And the really, the big question, I guess, on lots of people's lips is, what are you going to do when you die? So I want you to think about what are you going to do when you die with your journals. So you could sit down with a trusted friend and say, what I'd like you to do with my journals is this. You could write something inside your every single journal to express what you want to have happen. For me, I don't particularly want anyone to find my journals, so I'm probably going to ask for them all to be burned. But when you think about not being here, and you think about what you want your legacy with your journals to be, that kind of informs you and takes you back to the how and the why you journal. Because I've said, when you're gone, you can't explain anything, you can't add in anything extra. So really, really tap into what that means to you and what you want to do with your journals. But I'll tell you what I do really quite like the idea of is that you have a separate journal, and that becomes your legacy journal, kind of like messages that you want to leave behind. Sort of related, but not. What I did for my dad as a present is I created a photo album journal, got lots of pictures, got them all scanned in and made them into a book. And when he went, it was like he had left us a legacy journal. So just grab your journal and explore. Will you keep or destroy your journals? Will you burn, shred, or soak them? Who is your trusted person? So set that conversation up now and write a note in your journals what you want to have happen. And really explore what you want to do with your journals on your death, and think about how that's going to influence how you write right now.